All right, cool. Welcome to Romera Records Podcast. Today we have on Amber Russell. How's it going, Amber?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
So I brought you on because I was looking at your Instagram and I saw you having a bunch of like inspirational type stuff, and you seem like very energetic and you seem like a person that could talk. So I figured it'd be good to have on for a podcast.
Absolutely. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. So you seem like a very involved, like hometown type of person. It seemed like you really like to get out there and do and like promote yourself. You seem like a type of person who is really involved in whatever you're trying to do. So could you give, I guess, everybody a little information about whatever things that you're trying to get your hands into around this area, and just pretty much your background a little bit?
Gotcha. So I'll first start out with the background.
Okay.
Since you mentioned I like to be involved and get out and do into things. And so I guess I'm from Texas, and that started, I guess, like kind of growing up like that. I'd always been around just so many different people, whether it be, with my dad, and because he was a construction worker. And so we were always around somebody. And then even with my mom and her job, one time she used to work at a Home Depot, and on Saturdays they would do like these different wood workshops.
Okay.
And so we would always be around people, and that's just kind of already how I grew up. Now, I was always the black sheep in the family. I'm the baby of 5.
Okay.
So then I say there's a 5-year difference between me and my other sisters, and then the difference just kind of go on. But other than that, so it started, with my background from Texas, always being involved or being around somebody's adults, predominantly all the time. And then life loves to happen, and so now I'm here in Memphis, Tennessee, right? So with this being involved, I don't know, there's just always something for me to get out and explore or do something. I love being outdoors somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Anything that I can, let me go check out this area, or let me go check out this area. And I always do it by myself. I don't know why. And so you will always find me. And so one time my friend asked me to get a particular type of app, and she always wants to know my location, because I could be in Memphis one day. Yeah. Next thing you know, I'm in California just for the weekend. Like, God bless. What are you doing right now? It's like, I'm just exploring,
Do you travel a lot?
Actually, I don't. I only go to like certain conferences, or I kind of just go when I need to, or whenever I'm starting to do something or get involved, like you mentioned. So I don't know if you were ever told this growing up, but my grandmother always said, whatever you're going to do 100%. It would 110% actually give it your all, right? And I always took that to heart, because I think Will Smith says it, so many other different motivational speakers or inspiration influencers say it, fail fast, or fail forward, but do it quickly. And I kind of learned in my experience from college and even being out here, the more that you actually get out and do something, or you're giving your 110% into a particular subject or job or whatever, then you realize very quickly, okay, this is actually for me. I want to continue the process, or hey, this isn't for me. So then you got to make decisions, right? Are you going to go here or here? Are you going to try to find something else and do and explore? Or you're going to, do something else and do this? Where you always got options. You always got decisions. But
absolutely, when
you give that 110%, you give yourself, I don't know, like a chance to see what you like, what you don't. And not what culture says, what you like, you don't, and then you figure it out from there.
Which, you bring that up, that's a really good point to, I guess. So how old are you?
I'm 24.
24? Okay, so I would say actually, today's my birthday.
Happy birthday!
I was about to say I'm 26, but I just turned 27.
Hey!
Yeah, so I think people, I would say probably my generation and maybe like early 20s or so, that they get really caught up in how things are going. And your big word is culture. Even Migos, the rap group, they have Culture is the name of their 2 albums that they put out, because they know that if you can shape people's, like with music, and shape people's culture, that's going to change the way people dress, the way people look and stuff like that. So making your own identity and not just following whatever culture has, it's a pretty big thing.
It's a scary thing too, especially when you're trying to figure out yourself. I mean, just you sitting there being a male and me sitting here being a female, we both have two different identities and even cultures hitting at us, double standards in both areas, but it's so different, right? So as a female, we're growing up where we've got to have the tiny waist and the pretty face. I ain't trying to rhyme here, sorry, but that's, true, or just don't care because the man is going to come for you. We were always taught to have some type of backup, or you can't really find yourself because you got to be in a relationship. And that may even go for men too. Like, you don't really find your purpose until you're in a relationship, or you don't find your identity unless you're with this particular set of group, or that's culture, right? That's what we were all brought up just differently. And so it's scary, I say, because when you start to realize, I don't really care for that right now, or I just kind of want to do what I like and what I appreciate. But then that also goes back to, 110%, because when you're with your group or with your peers, you're all in, right? But then your conscious and your subconscious starts to kick in, and you're just like, I've got a different purpose. I've got a different calling. How can I now step out of it in a polite way, right? But just recognizing I'm a little too worldly, to fit into this, but I'm a little too culturally to step out of this. So, like, how do I find that balance, and how am I going to find my purpose and my identity? So it's very scary understanding and just having that self-awareness to recognize, okay, is this me, or is this what I've been taught, or what I've been listening to, or what I've been reading? Whatever you surround yourself with, that's going to have a heavy influence on you. So if there's not some point where you start to recognize and actually like do self-development, or if you're spiritual, go listen to sermons, or if you just need some time to yourself to clear your thoughts, it becomes so surreal, the fact that if you don't take care of that part of you, then you're always just going to follow the next trend and the next trend and the next trend. And it's just like, well, damn, like where does that leave me? Because I'm special, but how can I prove it? How can I show it?
Yeah. And I think about that a lot with my music. So when I first started like with music, I'm like, this is what I want to do, but I want to make sure that whatever is special about me comes out in my music, because I've got a bunch of other friends that do music, and it seems like some of them will try and sound like somebody else who's popular, so it'll catch on. But I'm just like, if you sound like, so say, I had a friend that does music and they wanted to sound like, I don't know, like Chris Brown or something like that. If some random person heard their music, would they rather want to listen to Chris Brown or somebody who sounds kind of like Chris Brown? You know what I mean? I see
what you're saying.
So if you are trying to, I guess, imitate, people who are doing it, which, I tell people all the time, if you're doing something, like say you want to be a phenomenal cook or something like that, look up Gordon Ramsay, or, look up Guy Fieri, look at what they're doing and try to, quote unquote, imitate what they're doing just so you can get better, but don't try to be Guy Fieri. Don't try to be them, because then it's gonna be like, well, why would I want to do or see what you're doing when I could just look at the other person, because they've already made it. So finding your own identity is a huge thing in my world, as far as like getting people to understand who you are and getting yourself out there, because being able to capture people's attention is something that social media, it's huge right now. It's being able to be the quote unquote next big thing, but you want to be different than everybody else. That's usually what catches on with, music or entertainment, is somebody's different, somebody's doing something that nobody else is doing. So being able to just, find your own lane, find your own identity is huge for people.
Absolutely. And so you talk about, being different, right? Even though you're same here, like music wise, but you got to find your own little style to add to it. And so one of the things I actually started doing with my Instagram is talking about weakness, my weakness post. And I'll post a picture, and then in that moment, what I'm feeling, I'm going to be vulnerable with you. Okay. I'm going to have a human moment with you, because everyone has these human moments, whether they actually want to talk about it or not. And so I remember coming across someone's feed on Instagram, and it says no one is going to talk about the weakness moments. Everyone's going to post the glam, and it's like, that's so true. No one actually sits there and
the Insta glam.
Yes, exactly. Like hashtag no filter, hashtag liar, but that's okay. I still follow you. But yeah, no one wants to sit there and be vulnerable and talk about, what they're feeling. And so it's funny. I'm so glad I came across that, because then that gives me a chance to be real with people as best as I can, but also still look cute, because I'm a woman, but then let them know, like, we are all humans. What's going to make you happy? And so I did a leadership post yesterday. I was just honest, and then I just had a self-awareness moment where then I go on to teach and be inspirational like I've always been, or be a positive influence. So I know part of my purpose on this earth is to give hope to people, to bring positivity, positive vibes, thoughts, processes, or emotional states, whatever it is that person needs into their dark situations, or into a place where they feel like they can't get out of anything, which isn't true. We always have some sort of silver lining, right? So it's bringing that hope. And if I've got to use weakness to be able to show that, then I'm going to do it. That's my unique trait, my unique quality. So I'm so glad that I came across that feed. So then I started this whole little weakness post, this journey, right? And it's been very enlightening for myself too.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're getting a good response out of people because you're doing that? Like, I don't know what kind of big following you have. Like, I'll see people with like 50,000 followers and stuff like that, but they got like 20 comments or something like that. That just means people are just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They're not getting actual like engagement from people. Do you get like good quality engagement from people?
I actually do, and so I'm starting to get other people from nationwide, and a lot of my friends in the beginning, because I used to post a video every single day, and they'll message me, whether it be Instagram, they'll call me, or they'll send me a message through Facebook saying, thank you so much for what you're doing. And then it just spreads on like that. And then as other people, like I said, nationwide, they're, like, good job, like, keep it up, like, you're doing wonderful out there, thank you for the inspiration, I needed this today, or things like that. So I do get engagement. Don't have that big of a following, but that's okay. That's going to come, in time. And actually, I feel like a lot of other people have been unfollowing me because, I'm not normal. I'm not commercial. Yeah, exactly. I'm not within the cultural standards or the norms that has been placed upon me, has been placed upon even men figures. And then like, it's like, well, she's being real, or it's too good, or not showing enough, or whatever it is, and I like that, because then it saves room for the people that actually need that, or want that, or want to listen to me, or want to read what I have to say. And that's okay if they just like it and move on, or if they actually engage. That's up to them, but I do get positive engagements. And so now it's just up to me to be consistent, but I'm human. So sometimes like life happens, and it's just like, God bless Amber, come on.
Rachel, she was actually, she follows some chick, I think her name is like Honey Buns Fit or something like that. And she posted a video of like her wearing, I don't know if she was wearing like just like her underwear or like a bikini or something like that, but she was showing like body differences between like Instagram pictures and like reality, and she just looked completely different, like for the way she poses. And she was just showing people, hey, this is how I pose when I'm on Instagram, but this is the way my body like really looks like. So she was like making her body look different and showing people the differences.
That's awesome.
And a lot of people were like commenting on it, and they were just saying like how inspirational that was to see somebody not just showing you the good pictures, but also showing you, like, this is how I generally look, like just like sitting and like slouching and like your stomach pouch and stuff like that. She's like, that's a real, like, everybody has that. Like, don't freak out because that's what you do. Everybody has that. So that, when people who are highly looked upon in that fashion, tend to take it down a few notches and like relate to everybody else, it's a good thing to see.
Absolutely. And I started doing personality pics. So sometimes when I have people, like my friends taking pictures of me, and they sometimes like to do the shots that aren't so glam and fabulous, but then I just post it along with my good shot, because that's me. I'm goofy. I'm headstrong. I'm crazy. I'm bold, and I'm funny, and I love to smile as well. And so I'm gonna show all of these sides of me, because this is all us. You know, this is what I'm gonna show you, even though a lot of people aren't gonna do it. So that is so good to hear. You know, reality and what people love to see.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, if you do that, and it will help your fan base. You know, you were saying some people will get more engaged with you, and some people will unfollow you or not even talk to you. And it will truly show a lot about the people who are engaged with you. And I think it just, you know, it breaks it down to help you, you know, contact the right people and to help them out. And, you know, you might start getting over flooded with, you know, people like, hey, thank you for posting this, or hey, and that truly, you know, I've had people who will, you know, I used to post stuff on like Snapchat, and it was like fitness stuff or relationship advice and stuff like that. And people would tell me, you know, thank you for posting that. You know, I needed to hear that and stuff like that. So it's just being real with people and just letting people know that you're going through the same thing that they're going through. That helps out. I actually, so I did a music video yesterday.
Cool.
And I was still wearing the same clothes that I was wearing during the video while I was editing it. And I like posted that, and I was showing people like, you know, I just did a music video and it's on YouTube, and you know, it looks good and everything, but I'm just showing you I did the video, came home, edited, and now I'm on Instagram posting it on my phone. Like, a lot of big name artists aren't going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to post on Instagram, you're like, hey, I'm right here editing this video, or you know, they're not editing their own videos.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they have the luxury of other people doing it for them.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just that realism of like, hey, if you want to do this, you could do it too. You know, I'm not, you know, I might feel like I'm doing something awesome, but I'm not showing you that I'm special and like I'm better than you. You know what I mean? Like, and do you know what chat roulette is?
No.
So chat roulette is like this thing where a lot of people are notorious for it being like a place where a lot of people are just like doing crazy stuff on video.
Okay.
But pretty much you can just like randomly talk to people and it'll just like flip through it. So it's literally like a chat roulette. Like you just hit like next or whatever, and you'll like skip through people. Well, you know, you give random humans a video cam and you can only imagine what you'll see.
All kinds of kinds.
Yeah. So, but I would sometimes like get people who were like playing a guitar, or they were trying to like sing or something like that. And I'd be like, yeah, you, what stuff you got out? I'm like, well, I don't have anything out right now. I'm like, why not? It's like, well, I don't know if it's good or not. I'm just like, no, stop that. Just put it out there. People will let you know if it's bad or not. And if you think it's good, then just keep doing it. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if it's bad, you know, you can, hey, you think this is bad? Why do you think it's bad? And just conversate with people, and then you'll just find your own way eventually. But I think that's one thing that's huge to me, is just being able to find a level ground with people and just conversating with people about, hey, I know that what I'm doing is something that I want to do, but if you think that this is something that you want to do as well, then just go for it. You know, don't just like see me as the type of person that's just doing, well, you're doing that, so you know that's easy or whatever. But what I'm trying to do is hard. Like, no, just do whatever you want to do. Live your life.
Yeah, it's so crazy because it's like we need permission to live our life, and it's like, God bless whoever said that we needed permission.
Don't wait on anybody.
It's just what we've been taught from school, from society, again, like what we watch and what we listen to, or even like who we follow, because we think this is what it is, right? Because this is what we see. But then we don't see like for instance, Beyonce, for that 2-hour performance, she practiced 8 months for it. We don't see that though. We just see her get on stage and do the performance and think that, it was a God-given talent. Like she didn't have to work for anything. Like, no, like what you don't see is her working 8 months, but what you do see is the great performance, but that was because of what she did in those 8 months, right? And so it always just goes back to how can you be sincere with yourself? How are we going to start finding and understanding that? And even like you said, how just post it out there and people are going to comment, if it's good or if it's not, but it's just you doing you.
Yeah.
And it's you trying to find that common ground with people. I love reading. I love reading Abraham Lincoln in particular.
That's rare.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Boom, spot on. I don't know why. And so I do like different speaking events. And so I had the honor to speak to FBLA officers, which is Future Business Leaders of America, over in Arkansas. And it was amazing. And so I talked about how to be the drop of honey. And that's what Abraham Lincoln talks about in one of his little like mini speeches that he gave. And he said a drop of honey attracts more flies than a gallon of gall. So to reach the common man, you've got to be their sincere friend. And so this is how I feel like we should be in a generation where we have so much knowledge at the tip of our fingers. We literally have access to so many people worldwide, but yet we still don't know how to communicate.
Yeah.
We still don't know how to listen. We still don't know how to talk. And so reading like his speech and then just reading different principles that he lived by, he always had some type of sincere conversation with anybody. That's why he was one of the most beloved presidents that we had. And everybody that came up to him, he always treated them like a friend. And so I've kind of realized that about myself, how no matter what, I've always been positive. I've always had something nice to say. I have my human moments, please don't get me wrong. I try to I for some reason I've always tried to live by that standard. And when I started reading his books, and I just realized, this is what it's about. If we're going to reach the common man, we've got to show them that we're their sincere friend. How are we going to do that? I've got to be genuine beyond expected, right? Because no one else is going to expect me to work hard. They just only see the glamour shots that I post. The only one that's going to expect me to work hard is myself. So then how am I going to be sincere, right? So how can we start listening more? How can we actually start communicating more? How can we actually integrate our own style, our own personality traits with other people and vibe with them, and just be we don't necessarily have to be on the same level with them, but if we're going to be able to actually talk and communicate with them, you've got to be the bigger person to step down to actually listen. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? We've got to do more listening. And it's crazy because sometimes I'll sit down with some business people or hell, even some of my friends, and I'll have my phone to the side, and then they'll be sitting there doing stuff, and I'm just like, okay.
Dude, going out to eat, that is the worst. I look around, even if it's like a couple or if it's like friends, whatever, and everybody's just on their phone, I'm just like, who are you talking to? Or even if you're on social media, you're out with these people for a reason, because these are the people that you would be. You're done doing stuff, at home by yourself, being on your phone. Be with those people that you're out with.
Yeah, and I realized I made people feel awkward sometimes. I was like, no, you do you. I'm here spending time with you. So apparently you want to be on your phone with me. That's okay. Nothing against you. That's just what we've been, accustomed to, especially now. But it's crazy on how that even blows their mind right there. And it's I'm willing to set this thing down, even though yes, it's my business, and yes, I use it to communicate and talk with a lot of other people, but I'm trying to spend some time with you. I'm trying to make sure that this relationship that we have is still here somehow, some way. And I'm trying. You can do you. I'm not going to judge you, but I'm going to be here to listen, to be present. And that's the thing, just being present. So it's understanding how can we just integrate our own style? Because we talked a lot about, we we want to be like this, you know, in music, like it sounds like Chris Brown. So like, I just might as well listen to Chris Brown because he's already established and he's got new songs coming out and you're still being inconsistent because you're on the edge and kind of not. But then you got this one good song out. That's all the songs you got, you know, like, so I might as well just listen over here. It's the same thing. So it's like understanding, okay, how can I use my personality, my skills, my communication style to be able to be present with other people, be that drop of honey.
Oh yeah.
You know? And so it's crazy.
What exactly are like a few things that you've been trying to implement? See, I know you did. God, what was that thing? Oh, you were doing the wake up calls.
Yes.
So what is that all about? How'd that start?
So that started because I'm pretty much like a therapist for my friends. They call me like, you're the only person that can calm me down right now. I got this and this situation. And I'm like, okay, you're just lucky I got a job that I can do this. I'm like, okay, you know. And I realized that what I say has an influence on people. How I say it has an impact with people.
Oh yeah.
And I started realizing that, and actually not long ago, believe it or not, you know, and because then people started saying, I thought about you because someone said this, and I said this. I thought about my intentions. I thought about my decision behind it. I thought about my why, because that's what you talk a lot about. And I was like,
that's heavy.
Thank you, you know, like, thank you. Because I tell my friends all the time, like, you're about to do this, what's your intention? Like, are you truly thinking about the other person, or are you just being selfish in your own desires?
Yeah.
And they're like, ooh, that's good. It's, and you know, you're gonna do you. You're a grown person. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I want you to understand the patterns that you have and realize the intentions behind your decisions. Because, and I tell them all the time, it starts up here. If you start your day positive, you are going to move and act accordingly to positive. Like one of my friends right now, she's going through a very rough stage with her relationship. I said, if you need to start seeing yourself loved, because the more you start seeing yourself loved in your mind, you're going to act and walk accordingly in that manner. And it's even with goals. Like if you see yourself, I don't know, making $1 million. Okay, so here you see yourself making $1 million. Now you're going to start acting and responding in that manner. And so subconsciously, opportunities are going to come and you're just going to grab, not realizing what you're doing. But the same thing happens with bad patterns and negative thoughts. And you start your day out negatively, then you're going to start seeing everything in such a bad manner. You're going to put yourself in a good mood. If you have a family, you got to take it out on your family. You go home, you're isolated and you're all alone by yourself. You're just sitting there in your thoughts. So I started these wake up morning calls because a lot of people love for me to call them or listen to me to just wake them up. Or just start their day out right, or just listen to them, give them guidance, and they remember, you know, okay, what are my intentions, what are this and that, but I just kind of want to listen to you tell me again, because like I'm at this stage where I just need to hear it. And so then I just decided, okay, why not start a morning, you know, calls with so many different people, because like we mentioned, I do get different engagements for my comments and my posts. So then it just became, okay, like this is me. I know I'm supposed to bring hope to the people. How can I do this? And well, social media. Here we go. Click the link, you know, and I'm going through some coaching processes where I can actually hone my skills even more and come up with a method within from the program to actually give to people. And I started out with just like a little routine that I've got for them that I'll send them or things of that nature. But then you need a mentor, like whatever you're gonna do, music, acting, singing, being an influencer, you need some type of mentor because where you want to go, someone else has done it. And like we talked about, like follow them, but don't be them.
Correct.
So then how are we going to integrate this genuine personality that you got to be able to reach all these different people? Because what you have is a rare skill, but it's only going to come out if you actually find that mentor and you actually start making those decisions from what's my intention, what's my why, how am I going to start walking in this manner?
Yeah. All right, cool. So we took a quick break. The camera I'm using is just like a 30-minute camera. So I'm going to have to get a video recorder so we can do longer than 30 minutes on our video. Something that I really wanted to, I guess, find out about what your I guess, future endeavors. So you've got a little bit of like fitness going on. What kind of plans do you have for that?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So like I said, I'm a bold one. And I actually I feel like when you are working out, that's your time to think, or that obviously it's your stress reliever. And I noticed one day, I ran at Shelby Farms here in Memphis, and I ran around the pond for like 2 miles, or it's 2.3 miles, something like that. And my time, I saw the time. I was like, I can get it down. I can get it down. The next day, I got it down a minute. It's like, I can get it down another minute. Did the next day after that, and so on and so forth, until I'm at this really good time that I love and that I want to work on. So I just kind of realized, man, this is such a vulnerable state for you. You are literally you make those weird expressions, for me sometimes, like, I have to physically, like, I'll hit myself, or I'll physically say something out loud. I'm just like, you better go. It's all in your mind right now. You're not stop. If you stop right now in the midst of whatever workout you're trying to do, you're literally giving your body a reason to stop. It's in your mind. You can get it down to another second. You can keep going. You made it this far. You can keep going. Or you can at least finish at the mark. And so I realized that as I was working out, a lot of anything that you do in life, it is a mental thing. It's the state that you're in. It's like, okay, I kind of take it day by day now as I'm working out. Like, I'm at work, I'm working out. I made it this far. I can go however many hours, or I can finish this task. I can do this. So I started understanding that about me, that this is a mentality thing. Okay, how can I now integrate this with being the drop of honey, being sincere? What are my intentions? And so if my intentions is being inspiring, a lot of people love fitness things, or they love that motivation that other people have. And so sometimes my friends will text me like, haven't seen you post something in a minute, that I need my daily motivation. Because sometimes I used to post something every day, like at the gym, about to get that gym in, or something like that. And so they'll text me, haven't seen my daily snap of you of going to the gym. Like, you are my inspiration. You are something that I admire, that I look up to. And it's funny because even at the gym, I have influence there and it's crazy without even realizing it. And I was running one time and there's this guy at the gym. He said, he asked his friend for advice on how to keep going after 3 miles, because then you get kind of bored, especially on a treadmill, He's like, so he asked his friend, how can I keep going? He said, oh, that's easy. Just when you get on the treadmill, whoever comes on next, just follow them. And he told us that story, me and my friend. And I started laughing because I was like, oh, that's so true, because not a lot of people love cardio, and they'll just kind of stop and you'll be done. He's like, that's right. But you got on and you just weren't stopping. And he's like, I eventually had to stop. He's like, you're a little machine over here. And I was like, oh, like I took that like in such an honored way, because then that's an influence right there. That gave me a chance to speak to this man and to be positive in his life in a different aspect. And now I'm soon to sign up for a mutter with him. So, like going through underneath barbed wires and all this other stuff, like, it's such a challenge. And so what I plan to do with that is having that in the coaching sense, fitness motivators. I used to coach a woman in public speaking, and she does like online Beachbody or some type of online fitness thing, and she has followers. She'll sometimes get on her conference calls and speak. And so not a lot of people know how to speak publicly, or even just on the telephone. And so she asked me for help. And so I helped her, right? And then I realized, wow, there are actually a lot of people within this industry that are just on the trend. Like, I'm going to be a fitness coach, and have all these people under me because my friend is doing it or so-and-so is doing it. But then, you're doing so well. How can you talk to people? So then I just started understanding, okay, well, no one's going to respect me or admire me if I'm not working out, if I'm not keeping myself in fine condition. So, all right, Amber, run your 10 miles, girl. Let's go. It's all in your head.
You'll see people who are like, they say like online coaches, and that's all they are. Like in real life, they're not living, the same way that they're telling people, how to do. So it's pretty crazy. Like the online type stuff, a lot of people are like scams, they won't be, or they'll say, send me your number, send me your email, and I'll give you all this information. And then they'll just be like cookie cutter stuff. They're giving the same people the same thing. That was actually a big thing with, you ever heard of shreds?
Like, that gym like stuff, or B-shreds or something like that.
It was, God, I can't remember how many people, but they had like, I want to say 3 heavy hitters. One was like Paige, is it Hathaway? No, I forgot her last name, but Paige something. And then there's a dude on Instagram, his name was like Joey Swole, but they were a part of that Shreds group. And they got hit hard with like Instagram stuff. Like they were saying that they were editing their videos or editing their photos to make them look more ripped than what they truly were. And like the workout plans that they were giving people were like cookie cutter type stuff. And I was like, dang, that's bad for your brand.
Yeah, it is.
And that spreads too. Like people will bash you hard for that. And that just goes back to what we were talking about, just making sure that you're real with people and you're giving them, 110% of who you actually are, and not just like something for them to just buy. You know what I mean? Like, just buy this stuff just because I made it. Like, like give me some quality, give me some good stuff.
And it's funny because at work, someone had said, this woman walked in, she was being a salesperson, and they told her no, but she was so adamant about them purchasing, right? And it made me sit there and think. I wasn't there for it, but when they were telling me the story and they're trying to get her out the door, it made me sit there and realize, if this woman was not in a current, maybe financial situation, maybe relationship situation that made her feel like, no, you need to do this now. You need to buy this now. What kind of world would we be in if we actually had all of our things taken care of? So I'm sure she's a very wonderful person, And so when you talk about, people are very quick to bash you. Very. They do not hesitate. And if they need something from you, or if they want to get on a trend to make money because they need to take care of their own things, they're very quick to do that because they need the help. So help me because I need the help, right? But then you sit there and you're just like, man, yeah, I need the help, but you need to go about it a different way. So what are your intentions? What are your true intentions? And so I have a vision board. And ever since I actually started truly sitting down and looking at it, I mean, there's so many goals that I have on there for, my 2-year, 5-year, 10-year, whatever plan, that I'm wanting to do. And I realized, my intention with this goal was because I wanted to be petty with an ex-boyfriend. I'm going to cross this off right now because that's not me. Yeah, I want to make money, but I'm not going to do it like this.
That simple thing right there is what a lot of people don't do, is stop and think.
Yeah. We're so distracted. And I guess that's another reason why I love going on Instagram and being inspirational with my things and talking a lot about the self-awareness. What is your intention? If you do not give yourself 5 minutes, what are you doing with your life? Why are you distracting yourself with music, with videos, with binge watching Netflix, you know? Why are you doing all of those other things and suppressing your emotions and understanding your whys behind my reaction to this person or my decision in this goal that I have up on my board or this $1 million that I want to make, That's all fine, but is that your happiness?
Yeah.
Is that something that you actually want to do, or is that something that has been fed to you? No one takes the time to sit there and realize this goal is for me. You know what? I had a very poor choice with why I actually wanted to do this goal. Don't get me wrong. Like, you're going to have your spotlight moment whenever you come up on stage or whatever skill that you want to use, people are going to see how great that you're doing, but there's definitely a better way to go in about it than just, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Nah, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you, you know? Yeah. We're all at this same level. We're all going to go in the dirt, you know? The only thing that's going to matter is, what did you do with your skills that you were given to actually be genuine and to help others around you?
Yeah.
That's what we're left with.
Yeah. What you were just last saying, I heard some quote, I can't remember who said it, but they said, I could get dealt the same cards you were dealt and still win. And I was like, whoa, because that's saying that somebody has that much confidence in who they are, that, you know, people saying, well, I can't be great at such and such because I was born with, you know, a poor family or in a poor neighborhood or whatever. But that saying is trying to bring that negative thinking out of people, that pessimistic thinking out of people. Is just saying, no matter what cards I get dealt, I'm still going to win, no matter what. And that motivates me to this day. Again, I don't even remember where I heard that from. But I hate thinking about somebody being better at me. Like, I know I don't have the best podcast. I know I'm not the best musician. Yeah, but like in my head, it just makes me mad that I'm not the best. So that motivates me just to get better. Even though I know I'll probably never be the best at something, I'm still trying. And eventually I just will progressively get better just because I'm trying to get better. Even though I have no real goal, I'm just getting better because that is, you know, what I'm doing. I just continuously practice. I'm continuously bringing people on and talking to them, and so I just get better at conversation. I honestly, I would probably say like 3 years ago, I was not good at just like talking to people and bringing a conversation out of somebody.
Gotcha.
But by doing these podcasts and having 30-minute conversations where it's just us, we're just talking, and, you know, we don't have our phones out. We're just having a conversation. That type of stuff is what will help you, you know, just get better at just talking to people. And all the time, people would ask me like, dude, how do you get your big back? You know, how do you get big lats? Or like, how do you get good at pull-ups? That was another thing. People always ask me, how do you get good at pull-ups? I'm like, do pull-ups. Do the
1, 2. Let's grab the bar.
If you're bad at something, just keep practicing it, and you'll eventually get good at it. No matter what it is, I can promise you, if you are bad at push-ups, females, like, they always want to be able to do push-ups. Like, oh, I want to be able to do this many push-ups. Like, if you can't do push-ups, just keep doing push-ups. Like, if you have to, you know, they call it like girl push-ups where they're like on their knees or whatever. If that's all you can do as many as you can, and then just keep on doing that every single day. And I promise you will get better just by doing it, not by finding somebody on Instagram or whatever and who's doing all these crazy push-ups, like, do these push-ups and you'll get a swollen chest. Like, no, just keep doing what you're doing.
Start with the basics.
Yeah, and then just consistently do it. Right. I think that's a lot of people's problem, is they don't believe in consistency. Just doing something every single day and like not stopping, that will get you better than almost any other technique, is being consistent.
You know, my dad used to always tell me, and I don't know how I remember this being so young, but anyways, he said, people will always remember how you make them feel. Oh yeah. And it's crazy because he heard that, or he learned that from personal experience, but years later, being an adult now, I went to a John C. Maxwell seminar, conference, or whatever. He said the same thing, but he got it from Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, because I read in the book, you know, reading. And so, but my dad had never met John C. Maxwell, never been to a seminar, never knew what he was all about. He just learned that from personal experience. So as we're sitting here talking about, you know, that's our problem. We're not consistent, right? Or we don't start with the basics. It's as they're on Instagram, as they're watching YouTube videos, as they're watching Netflix, they're listening to music, they remember how that artist made them feel. So now I'm going to act in accordance in that manner or in that direction because I like how this makes me feel. We do not like being out of our comfort zone because it's not something that feels good.
Absolutely.
So now I'm here on Instagram and this looks legit and this looks so simple. So let me do it just twice and let me have it. It's like, what are you doing? No, like you can't just do 2 push-ups and expect to have these big things. Like, no, like what? Like I understand. And so now it's like, okay, we are living in an age where we are more honed into our digital persona than we are with our physical being.
Oh yeah.
So now it's like, okay, I like how you make me feel. I like how I remember you making me feel this great. But the moment that you are being real and you tell them the truth and you show them, hey, this is my 8 months performance for a 2-hour thing, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's too long.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's too long?
Yeah.
You know, you got to grab the bar and you got to pull yourself up.
Yeah.
You got to do it every day.
People want that instant gratification.
Exactly. And then what's that going to get you?
Nothing.
A short-term result, and then you end up spending the rest of your life into something that you absolutely don't like.
Yeah.
So what are you left with?
Yeah.
Unhappiness.
Yeah.
What are you going to pass that on to? Your children.
I used to tell people, so I used to do personal training, and when I would train people, it was kind of messed up, but so like people would ask me, I would forget to tell people how many reps to do, because when I work out, I don't usually count reps.
Okay.
I just like do it until it burns, and then I do a few more.
Okay.
So if I feel like I can't do any more, that's the point where then I start like trying to count then.
Okay.
Because then I'm like, okay, it makes me hurt. Now, how many more can I do while I'm hurting? So I would train people, and they'd be like, how many am I supposed to do? And I'd be like, well, if you want a 6-rep body, do 6 reps. If you want a 12-rep body, do 12 reps. So that was my way of saying, you're going to get out what you put in. And so if you want to have a phenomenal looking body, put in more work. I can tell you to do 10 reps, but if you're like, I want to do more because I want to look better, then do 15 reps. You don't have to limit yourself to what I'm telling you to do. If I tell you to do 10 reps, but you feel like you can do more, do more.
Yeah.
You don't have to stop at what I'm telling you to do.
Right.
So I think that's something that's that's just kind of funny, is just, people if you set a goal or something like that, don't limit yourself
Right.
to that aspect. But yeah, just do whatever you can do.
But we need that permission for whatever reason. You tell me, like, I don't know what to tell you. This is how I know it, and the best way I can show you is by example. So here I'm gonna do it, but I'm not you, and you can't be me. So how you integrate this style into you, that's great, but I'm gonna lead by example.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of people doing that,
Absolutely.
leading by example. And that's so crazy because we literally have everything in the palm of our hand. But again, it's we don't like getting out of our comfort zone. We like the spotlight being on someone else because then it's going to show everything about them.
Yeah.
And then we're still okay, but yeah, like leading by example. I think that's something that we all need to start doing. And it's funny because a lot of people think that we have to be in the spotlight. We have to have a podcast. We have to be on Instagram being inspiring. It's like, no, like I accepted that call for my life because this is my purpose. I have a tattoo on my shoulder that says "You're my hope," inside an arrow. So it's inside an arrow, symbolically meaning no matter how far life is pulling me back, I'm only being shot into something greater. So that's me, though. I accepted.
Nice.
Thank you. Not funny story. I got that because I had a boyfriend back in college, and he was my best friend. I truly trusted him with a lot. And I finally gave him the chance, give us the opportunity. He ended up breaking my heart. It was funny, ironic, because it was shortly after my birthday, and it was around finals when he broke up with me. So I'm already in my room, not coming out because I'm studying, but now I'm really in there because, like, after, heartbroken and everything like that. But I was in church one day and had a friend beside me, and I realized I was doing so much praying about, my ex-boyfriend. I was like, I haven't prayed about my friends. Let me do that. And then God was bringing other people to my mind. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna pray about them. And then I realized I was praying about everybody and not myself. And I asked, okay, I'm praying about other people's purpose and their existence. I don't feel you. What's my purpose?
Yeah.
And he told me, you are my hope. And I kindly said, sir, like, are you trying to give me a death wish right now? Because not a lot of people like positivity. Not a lot of people like that hope. He said, you're supposed to bring that hope and that light into dark situations where people feel like there's no way out. So like I mentioned earlier. So then I place it inside the arrow because it's no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what I'm going through, no matter how far life is pulling me back, I'm only being shot into something greater.
That's good.
And I've got to continue to show that regardless of how I'm feeling. Please don't get me wrong. I have my human moments. I'm petty. I'm a woman. Come on. I'm just being real. And sometimes life hurts. And I find myself grabbing my shoulder. And I'm like, get over it. Don't matter. Don't matter. Show that honor. Show that respect as best as you can.
Okay.
Because you're only being shot into something greater. And it's not for you because it's for them.
Yeah.
I accepted that calling. But a lot of people don't understand. Like, they feel like I need to be a fitness coach or I need to have those videos right. It's like, what is your calling? And we're not going to understand our purpose. We're not going to understand our identity unless we give that 110% onto a path. Because then you're going to realize, I like this. I don't like this. Okay, what can I do? X, Y, Z. Let me try to find something else, right? As you're failing forward, then you start to find your process. You start to find yourself. And it's hard finding out yourself, but you can't understand that unless you go through it. But you have to accept your own calling. You don't have to be on Instagram just, for fitness or acting or singing or whatever. If that's what your skill is, please, by all means, do what you are called in the calling that you actually have accepted to use that out into the world to serve others, because it's not about us. It's about how we're going to give back to other people.
Exactly, yeah.
So how can we do that? With your own skills. So, yeah.
Is there anything that you have felt like really has helped you or like motivated you? Something that, it's like your everyday thing of this is why I do what I do.
It's to bring the hope to people, like that understanding that I have an influence, a positive influence, as best as I possibly can, and I've got to, Will Smith had said, if you are not making someone's life better, then you're wasting your time. You're not using your skills for the world. What are you doing? And it's like, I have a conscience. Where I feel like if I'm inside all day too long, I'm not doing something. I'm not posting something. I'm not doing something because I've accepted that calling. And so now I've got to start walking accordingly to that calling. And that's bringing hope. Whatever that hope looks like. I can't sit here and tell you, because how our conversation is going, how you're going to interpret this, it's going to be completely different for you than whoever else is going to listen to. They're going to, something is happening in their life, and what I said, how I said it, or even the phrase from, Will Smith or The Rock or whatever, it's going to hone on them. And it's going to help them move. It's going to help them change. It's going to bring that hope that they needed. And so no matter what, I wake up every day. I always wake up energized. Don't ask me how. I just wake up. I'm like, all right, let's go. Put on, for me, I like to put on some type of worship song. That's just how I start out my day. Okay. And then I make my coffee. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like coffee, but it's just part of my morning routine there. But then it's just like, no matter what, I'm a step closer to my goal. And no matter what, I've got to bring that hope. Somehow, some way. I've got to do that self-development. I've got to be patient, work harder than anyone else in the room, as The Rock says. I love it. He's like, you've got to outwork everybody in the room. Because it's not... If you kind of realize a lot of the people who, make a lot of money, don't get me wrong, they're very smart, but there are a lot of other people who are just as smart as you. But the only thing that they did different than you is they were consistent and they did it every day. So I've got to bring that hope every day, no matter what. I've got to wake up in my positive state of mind because someone is going to need that today. I don't know how. I don't know in what manner. I don't know if it's going to be from a joke that I'm going to say. I like to be funny. I don't know if it's going to be from me being real in a moment, or even just me showing my work ethic. You have an influence on other people, and you're going to attract those people to you.
Yeah.
So everyone's watching you, whether, again, like I was at the gym and someone like he asked his friend, and then he sees me get on the treadmill, and then, so like people see you.
Yep.
No matter what. So when you're away and you're in silence and you're trying to figure yourself out, how are you going to bring that out into the world? So I just know I got to bring hope.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Amber, for coming on. For real, it's great having you on. You're a good talker.
Thank you.
That's always my number one fear, is bringing somebody on. They just like kind of sit there, and I was like, well. But yeah, hopefully we can, maybe do this again sometime.
I would love that.
Is there anything you want to tell people to, go to the certain? I'll put it on the comment section of the YouTube or whatever. I'll put that on there. But is there anything that you want people to? I guess this is for the streaming purposes. Mm-hmm. So your Instagram or websites or businesses or anything like that you want people to know about? Yeah,
and so my Instagram is at I am Amber Russell, RUSSELL, 2 S's and 2 L's. That's my Instagram. And I do the morning coaching calls with Unbeatable Mind. So I just have a little link in the bottom that, or on my website or Instagram, that people can click on. But I don't know. I just want to bring the hope. And so if anybody listening wants some consulting, wants someone to help, to bring that hope, at I am Amber Russell.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for everybody for listening. And
yes, thank you.
And tune in next time, and I'll have somebody awesome on again. All right.
Bye, guys.